Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Lisbon, Portugal. And today we're going to talk about are some of the scams that tourists have to deal with when they come here to Portugal. But I'll be honest with you, when you come to Portugal, there's not a ton of scams you have to deal with because this is not a scammy society. It is not a scammy country. But there are some scams you should watch out for and some things that you might think are scams, but actually just the way they do business here. And that's why I'm going to start off with this one first. And it's the idea that it's a scam, but it's not. It's just how business happens here is you go to restaurants and they already have like a plate of cheese down for you and some bread down for you and the olives down for you, maybe some ham. There's all those kind of things that if you're coming from the US and some other countries, oh, it's already in the plate, it must be free. And then you just dive right in to start eating it. Well, here, it's not a scam because once you get your menu and you open it up, you'll notice it has the prices for the cheese, for the bread, for the butter, for the sardine paste. So before you dive into things you think are free, look on the menu, because I've seen a lot of upset tourists going, what? I just spent 10 euros on these little things and my actual meal was only 8 euros? Yes, it does happen. So well, just realize that. It's not a scam, it's just the way how business is done. And another thing I think you need to realize is how business is done when you're looking at your menu is also whenever you're ordering fish. Now, not like usually like sardinias or robalo, dorado, not like those, but if you're buying fish, make sure you look over to the side and if it has a like slash 100 grams. Because some restaurants, they'll just sell you the fish and that's the price it's there. But some restaurants, depending on the type of fish it is, might sell it by the 100-gram unit. And it's not necessarily a scam, it's just that all of a sudden when you think you're buying a $20 fish, you actually got, 3 kilos of fish and now it's 60 euros instead of 20. So do be aware of that. It's not a lot of places that do it, but it's good to note. Another thing that's going to seem like a scam, but it's not really a scam, is when you rent a car and they offer you the Via Verde. And the Via Verde is basically the toll pass. And somebody like, oh, I don't need that. You're overcharging me for that. Look, just get it because it'll make your life easier in case you're going to be driving around a lot in Portugal. So just to have it just makes your life easier, though it seems like one of those other upsells. Oh, do you want full insurance? Do you want the tires taken care of? Do you want the accidental kidnapped by aliens insurance? It just seems like one of those add-ons, but that's one I would definitely get the Via Verde just so you can kind of skip over some of the lines and you have to wait in line to pay tolls. You just zip on right through. And if you don't get it and you don't pay, believe me, the car companies, the rental companies, they do find you and they find you to give you charge you for those tolls, okay? So be aware of that. Now let's look at some actual scams you're going to see when you're here. Look, if you're kind of like in the Ribeira district in Porto, or if you're down in the Algarve where there's a lot of people going on like Albufeira, or you're here in Lisbon, the Baixa district, Barrio Alto, there's going to be guys that come up to you and it's going to start innocuously like, oh, do you need some sunglasses? No sunglasses? Oh, maybe you want some marijuana? Oh, no marijuana? How about Hashish Cocina? And it's the Hashish Cocina guys, and they will target tourists, okay? Male tourists and young tourists, that's who they target. They don't target the locals. It's just the tourists that are there. They're not selling you the real deal. That's a scam in itself, but it does get a little annoying. And I would say don't initiate with them. So do be careful with that. Another scam about people coming up to talk to you, and this is one that's really taken off the last few years because so many more tourists are coming here. You have the kind of lost tourist or the down on their luck tourists. They'll come up to you like, oh, do you speak English? Or my personal favorite, they come up to me in perfect English. Do you speak French? So then, they can be like, oh, j'ai un problème. They can be like, oh, I'm French and I've been robbed and I don't have any way to get home back to Paris or Lyon. They'll have a really good story for you. But the thing is, it's total BS. They're doing that to you to get 20, 30 euros for them to get that EasyJet ticket home or the Ryanair ticket home or the train home. And it's all BS. If you want to help them out, they're like, okay, let's go on easyjet.com and get your flight home, all right? And if they're like, no, that's okay, it's total BS. I mean, I'm back here in Lisbon, and this is, it's been a few years since I've been here, since before the pandemic. And honestly, I saw the same person do the same thing. She's from South Africa. She has South African money in her hand going, oh, I've got my South Africa, I just can't get back on. And you just feel sorry for them. It turns out they're still here doing the same scam, And so be careful with that because there are people that do that and kind of prey on the goodwill of tourists. So you're getting scammed because you're a good person. So I guess that's a good thing. Now, another thing I see a lot of here is the conversion when you pay with credit cards or the conversion when you go to ATMs. Euronet, I mean, those ATMs, they're not a scam. It's just they're not doing the best, I feel, for your financial future by using them. But anytime you use a credit card and you're going to a restaurant, a lot of times it'll automatically ask you, oh, if your bank account is in US dollars, it'll ask, oh, do you want us to charge it in US dollars or euros? Or if you've got British pounds account, would you like us to charge it in British pounds or euros? Do not take the conversion. Take the charge in the euro here, because then there's that, and let your bank back home deal with the exchange rate, because your bank is probably going to have your best interest in heart more than some random kiosk. And I'm going to tell you, I've talked to some of the kiosk owners around here in Lisbon and Évora. They didn't realize that the exchange rates on there are not very good, so they actually aren't making the money on it. They're just getting paid, they're like €5 for the beer and sandwich you get, and someone else is making money off of it. So that's one thing I would just say is be careful with any of those conversions. Say, no, thank you, charge me in euros. Another kind of new scam I've seen, and this is one that's come up here, I've seen it a lot in Lisbon, is since there's so many tourists, a lot of places have kind of popped up, and they're kind of assimilating a lot of other foods from Europe and saying it's traditional Portuguese. I've seen a few places that have said that paella, it's a traditional Portuguese restaurant, and we have, picanha and paella and patatas bravas. I'm like, well, picanha is from Brazil. Paella and patatas bravas from Spain. And it's not necessarily a scam, but just realize, if anyone's saying it's traditional Portuguese food, and you're like, wait, I thought that was from someplace else. It might have been. This is one thing that's kind of growing little by little. You can eat the paella, you can get the patatas bravas, it's not a problem, but I just don't want you to think that it's traditional Portuguese paella, because we don't do traditional Portuguese paella. We have arroz com marisco, which is rice with shellfish, okay? Now, something that's not a scam, but people get freaked out here, is they see wine, and they see wine on tap, and they think, oh, that must be the cheap stuff. They're trying to scam me with that instead of giving me bottled wine. No, if you're in Portugal and you're getting wine from the tap, it's totally fine. It'll be good and it'll be affordable, so you're going to be all right. So don't think that's a scam. And the thing is, anywhere you go in Portugal, they'll have a livro de reclamações, which is a complaint book. So if there is an issue, you can ask for the book and sign your complaint in there. And it's actually kind of a serious thing for them. So you do have a way to, reclamar when you are here, complain about stuff. So you have that. And of course, Lisbon, Porto, Algarve, they're all popular tourist places. So of course, you have the usual tourist scams. You have the guys that are playing the 3-card Monte kind of things you see anywhere around the world. Taxis in general are pretty okay, but you do want to pay attention. Put your directions in your Google Maps and follow yourself to make sure they're going the right way. If you're in the Baixa district, you'll probably see guys laying out big carpets that put all kinds of bags on there. And of course, those are scams. Those aren't real Gucci's. Those are not real, Prada bags. They are knockoffs, okay? So be aware of that. But if you're cool with knockoffs, it's totally fine. But I'm just letting you know that it's not a real Gucci. And when you're in restaurants, sometimes they might add an extra item that you didn't see or you didn't order, or they might, forget some change or on there. Things that you have everywhere around the world when you go to tourist destinations, you just got to pay attention for that. I'm leaving off a lot of stuff here because we have videos that go through the biggest scams in Europe, the biggest tourist scams around the world that'll help you out with that. I just want to kind of focus on ones that were more popular here in Portugal, so you're better prepared to enjoy this fantastic country. And honestly, I'm going to guess you'll probably only deal with the Hashish Cocina guy when you are here. Otherwise, you're going to have a fantastic time here in Portugal. Don't worry about these scams too much. I just wanted to give you an idea of what you might want to expect when you are here. Oh, if you see other scams when you've been in Portugal, please put it down in the comments below, because I know there's the fake apartment scams I've heard about down in the Algarve, and so just be aware. So let us know in the comments below, okay? Thanks, and have a great time here in Lisbon. Adeus, or in Portugal in general.